Hello and thanks for joining us for the final Geek TV of the series, and for all the people who are watching Geek TV on our accidentally pre-released Blu-ray, hello to you too. We have to give a quick warning and apology at the start of this week. Morgan and myself, say hello Morgan.
Hello.
Haven't actually seen the final 5 minutes of this week's Doctor Who yet. Those cunning cats at the BBC wouldn't let us see the final scene, so if you're wondering why we're not talking about the mega twist at the end, I presume there is a mega twist, that's why. I'm guessing we saw some David Tennant, maybe a glimpse of John Hurt, more Sylvester McCoy hanging from his umbrella, but we can't be certain, so I'm sorry we can't talk about it. Thanks a bunch, BBC. But aside from missing the final 5 minutes, Morgan, were you pleased with the name of the Doctor?
Yeah, those first 40 minutes I really enjoyed. Yeah, no, I thought it was a great episode. I mean, at its centre you've got two fantastic lead performances. Matt Smith, great this week. Jenna Louise Coleman, I thought was really great. There's also a really effective monster. The Whisper Men, maybe a little underutilised, but I thought they were really creepy. They've got a fantastic look. And then on top of that as well, the Clara mystery obviously comes to an end this week, and you know, it made enough sense for me. I was kind of satisfied with it. It didn't feel like a cheat, and I thought this overall was a good conclusion to the series.
Not too much timey-wimey for your liking.
A little bit of timey-wimey goes a long way, but no, like I say, you know, it was a satisfying resolution for me. It wasn't too confusing. I don't think anyone would have been completely baffled by this.
And despite Moffat's claims that the 50th anniversary wasn't going to turn into a fan fest, this episode felt to me like the ultimate fan fest. Was it? Is that what you got out of it?
Absolutely. I don't know what Moffat was blathering on about, to be honest. It felt like an absolute fan fest, and you know, brilliant. I loved it. You know, from the first 2 minutes, you've got the Doctor leaving Gallifrey for the first time, which is a scene that fans have wanted to see from day one. You've got classic clips. You've got, I think, pretty much every classic series Doctor in there. And then, you know, also, even beyond that, you've got little kind of nods to the past, obviously, you know, nods to earlier this series, but also nods going all the way back to 2005. And then, you know, for the really kind of hardcore fans, there's little kind of hidden treasures going all the way back to 1963.
Can you reveal any of those treasures? They weren't right over my head.
There's even, I think at one point there's a reference to The Trial of a Time Lord, the 14-part Colin Baker story from 1986. There's a little reference to the Valeyard in there, so there you go. Well, an education in Doctor Who.
Do you think this might have calmed down people who were worried that the 50th anniversary wasn't going to make any nods to the classic Doctor Who era?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've not just got a nod to classic Doctor Who, you're basically being hit over the head with classic Doctor Who, which again I love.
With Sylvester McCoy's umbrella.
Sylvester McCoy's umbrella, exactly. You've got clips from like Dragonfire in there from 1987, which is something I never thought I would see on TV on BBC One prime time in 2013. But you know, I loved it, and I imagine most Doctor Who fans will love it. But I did, you know, every so often stop and think, you know, what will the casual viewer make of this? I can imagine it might be quite baffling for, you know, someone like yourself.
Well, I obviously didn't understand any of it. Like, we were just talking about the Trial of the Time Lord. I don't get those references, but I think I've got more annoyed than you, I think, in discussions we've had in the office about the lack of sort of reference to the 50th anniversary and the lack of stuff we've seen so far on the BBC. So I was just really pleased that, you know, we got to see all the old Doctors. I don't think there was any McGann in there, so that was a little bit...
I think there's maybe contractual disputes there. It's probably a little more expensive to get McGann in there. But I mean, you didn't feel like you were missing out on watching the name of the Doctor?
If you were some sort of living in some sort of weird void where you didn't, you know, thought Doctor Who started with Matt Smith and ended with Matt Smith, then it might be a little bit confusing. Yeah. But I mean, I enjoyed it. It was just, you know, I was just pleased to see Sylvester McCoy back. That was enough for me.
Yeah.
With Doctor Who ending, it doesn't mean we're going to be stopped talking about Doctor Who on Digital Spy. There won't be any Geek TV for a little while, but Digital Spy will be doing lots of build-up for the 50th anniversary. Morgan, have you got any features, anything exciting for people to look forward to?
I have got bloody loads of stuff coming up. First of all, in July, there's going to kick off a series of polls where each week we'll be pitting two Doctors against each other, and then each week one will be eliminated, and then eventually we'll be naming Digital Spy readers' favourite Doctor of all time.
This is not going to end well. This is going to be ugly.
Wow.
Blood will be spilt.
Well, just wait, because then in September, kicking off, we're going to have a countdown, because, you know, all geeks love lists. So there's going to be a countdown of the top 10 Doctor Who stories of all time. Okay. As chosen by me, which is, probably going to cause some...
Definitive list.
Definitive list.
Definitive list, organised and chosen by one person, you.
I'm the Doctor Who expert. And, you know, it's obviously going to create some heated debate. So that should be interesting. And then going into, obviously, November, which is the 50th anniversary itself, we're going to have a video from the set of the 50th anniversary special, interviews with Matt Smith, David Tennant, Stephen Moffat, Jenna Louise Coleman, Joanna Page. It's going to be huge. And then, hopefully...
Name dropper.
And then, clang. And then, hopefully, if we've done enough to avoid the axe, Geek TV will be returning in November, just in time for the 50th special.
I'm really sorry, but that's all we've got time for on this week's Geek TV. We will be back later in the year for the 50th anniversary special, pending not getting the axe. So make sure you stick with Digital Spy until then. And Morgan, all I've got left to say to you is thank you. You were fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And you know what? So was I.
That's awful, man.